Good afternoon. I'm Rachel, Chief of Operations here at ALIenergy. I'm sorry we can't be there with you today, but I hope this video gives you some information about our service, and please get in touch if you would like to find out more. For those that don't know of ALIenergy already, we are a registered charity based in Lomond with staff working from home across Argyll and Bute and Highland regions. We work across three main project areas: affordable warmth, energy education and local energy projects. The majority of our current projects and funding falls under the Affordable Warmth banner in response to the ongoing cost of living crisis. All of our Affordable Warmth advisors are trained in City and Guilds level energy awareness. Some have went on to further training in renewable energy and energy performance certificates. We don't offer EPC services, but advisors can advise on the information within an EPC. As well as training in energy advice, our advisors are also trained in other issues, as we feel it's important they recognise and are able to work with individuals suffering from other issues. Recently, we have updated our training in suicide awareness and gambling addiction. Some funders will refuse an application for financial support if they see signs of gambling on a bank statement, so we felt it was important for our advisors to be able to start conversations with individuals and refer to or signpost them to further support. For over 20 years, we have worked in Argyll and Bute. 2 years ago, we moved into the Lomond area as there was no equivalent service there, and we are now working with several housing associations in the Highland region to offer our service to their tenants. We are experienced in delivering an advice service in a remote, rural and island area and understand the issues our clients face living in the north and west of Scotland. Over 50% of people in Argyll and Bute are in fuel poverty. There are several factors behind fuel poverty. A lot of properties in Argyll and Bute are old, stone built and off the gas grid. A number of properties still have single glazed windows, and a large area of Argyll and Bute is off the gas grid. People with electric storage heating pay 3 to 4 times more for heating than a property with mains gas. The energy efficiency of homes in Argyll and Bute is lower than the national average due to the age, construction and heating systems mentioned already. We have a lower income level in Argyll and Bute due to our ageing population and seasonal workers. When you put a light on or switch the kettle on, it costs the same whether there is one income in the household or two. We are seeing a lot of single person households. A lot of people are now energy savvy. We have to be careful how we deliver energy advice, as some people just can't afford to put their heating on. A lot of people are one paycheck from crisis, and there are some life changes that could push someone into fuel poverty or further into fuel poverty. We see a lot of people who have left the family home after a relationship breakdown and struggling to run a household on one income. We work with a lot of single parents who are rationing their heat by only putting it on when they have their children staying with them. I don't like to be stereotypical, but we often see elderly widows who have lost a husband that took care of all the household finance and admin. When their husband passes away, they are left grieving and overwhelmed at taking on the responsibility of the admin and bills for the household. You tend to find the husband has submitted meter readings and dealt with the energy supplier, so we do a lot of work with widows, showing them how to take meter readings, how to submit them to the supplier, and help them to understand their energy bills and payments. People facing redundancy and retirement may be at a greater risk of fuel poverty because they will likely have a reduced income and spend more time at home, so will want to have their heating on more. People who have had an accident or illness may have a reduced income and increased energy bill whilst they recover at home. A new baby can push a family into fuel poverty, as statutory maternity pay isn't great. Parents want to have a warm and cosy home for their baby, so heating bills will go up. When people have a heating breakdown, they may rely on plug-in electric heaters, which can be very expensive when they are the only form of heat in the home. People on a low and fixed income may find it hard to keep up with the rise of energy costs and increased costs over winter if they haven't budgeted throughout the summer. We have a large amount of people living in cold and damp homes, breathing in poor indoor air quality, which will affect their health. We have people using candles to light their homes, which is a huge concern for the fire service. We see people rationing heat, like the single parents I mentioned earlier. People on prepayment meters can see how much credit they have left and will try and make that last as long as they can. People on credit accounts are terrified of their next bill, so too scared to switch on their heating. And we are seeing more people than ever in energy debt. People are experiencing poor physical and mental health from living in cold and damp homes and worrying about paying for their energy. People have reduced household budgets and have to cut back on other necessities so they can put the heating on. Last year's advice across energy agencies was to heat the person, not the home. This was because of how desperate people were with the rise in energy costs. This will have had a knock-on effect on the rest of the property if rooms weren't heated. There's a risk of fire when people are using innovative ways to heat and light their homes. A lot of people tell us they don't invite people to their homes because they are embarrassed, they can't afford to put their heating on and have no hot water or dampness on the walls. Last winter, there were a lot of warm spaces advertised. This idea of people seeking free heat outside their homes isn't new to us. For many years, we have had clients tell us they go to the library or pub all day because it's warmer than home. People making plans outside of their home because they don't want family and friends to see their living standards. People using their free bus pass for long bus journeys to pass the time in a warm bus. Parents telling us they dread the school holidays because they will need to try their best to keep their children warm and fed. Some tell us they send their kids to family and friends more often than they would like to because they know it's warmer there. But for people in Argyll and Bute, it's not so easy to jump on the bus outside the house or nip down to the library, so they have to find ways to save energy and money at home. We are hearing from a lot more people who are now living in one room because it's too expensive to heat the whole house. More people are staying in bed longer than they would like to because it's too cold to get up. This will have a longer term impact on their physical and mental health. People are cutting back on the amount of hot food they are making, not only because of the cost to cook, but the cost of food itself. People are cutting back on washing clothes and themselves. For many years, we have spoken about people having to choose between heating or eating, but more recently, it's been freezing or starving. We're seeing a lot of sick people whose physical and mental health are affected by fuel poverty. Some people may think these scenarios are one-offs or only the extreme cases we see, but Glasgow University have published some data to put numbers against these scenarios. Professor Harriet Thompson published a paper using data collected by Ipsos Mori during a few days in October 2022. I spoke earlier about levels of fuel poverty being higher in Argyll and Bute, so I think we can be confident that the numbers would be higher if this survey was to be carried out here in Argyll and Bute. But for the responses collected across the UK, 65% used less hot water for showers and baths, 35% ate cold meals to avoid using energy, 44% cooked with alternative equipment, 15% reduced use of electrical medical equipment. Terrifying, as this equipment is to enable people a quality of life and/or to sustain life. 14% of people switched off freezers for part of the day. This shows the desperation people are facing to save energy and money. And 28% used candles for lighting, which is a huge fire risk. When asked about social relations, 10% limited or stopped friends or family visiting them. 9% were taking laundry to friends or relatives' house to avoid washing at home, and 8% of parents have sent their children to friends or family so they are warmer. The survey also asked about the coming winter at the time, and it was found 40% of people were going to turn off heating even if the property was cold. 17% said they would use gas or electric ovens for their heating, and 15% of people said they would improvise with fuels. For example, burning clothes, books or furniture in open fires. There is support out there from both the Scottish and UK governments, but it's not always targeted to the people that need it most. Everyone here should have received the £400 energy bill support scheme last winter. That was awarded regardless of need. £400 would have went quite far in a gas central heated property down south, but a household in Argyll and Bute with electric storage heating will have used that £400 far quicker. ALIenergy take part in forums and meetings to make sure governments and Ofgem are aware of what is happening on the ground here in Argyll and Bute and the challenges people in our community are facing with regard to fuel poverty. These are some stats taken from our client management system covering this financial year. The top left diagram shows a steady stream of inquiries over spring, which is usual, then a jump in September. When we compare that to the previous year, That jump was 2 months earlier than expected. I've included a breakdown of the household composition to show the large majority of clients we work with are single-person households, followed by single parents. It won't be a surprise that our biggest employment status group is our unemployed people on benefits, but we are seeing a growing number of working households not in receipt of benefits. We are receiving an increasing amount of inquiries from people who have never had to worry about energy bills before and never had to ask for help before. We receive inquiries from households with all types of heating, and our advisors are trained to deliver advice on all systems. To access our energy advice service, people can contact us directly. They can do that by speaking to us at events, by calling our office on 01631 565 183, emailing us on inquiries@alienergy.org.uk, or completing the contact form on our website www.alienergy.org.uk. We also receive referrals from other professionals: Home Energy Scotland, social work, Argyll and Bute Citizens Advice Bureau, housing associations, health professionals, food banks and other agencies. In the first instance, everyone is offered a telephone call, and that allows the advisors to collect information on the person, on their household makeup, on the property, on their heating, how they pay for their heating, if there are any vulnerabilities in the home that we should be aware of. And this allows the advisors to get a full picture of the person's circumstances so that they're able to identify what support they can access and tailor the advice that they need. In some cases, people will need a house visit. That may be because they need face-to-face support, or our advisors need to be physically in the property. That could be if they need to help somebody read a meter, or if they need to help somebody with heating controls. We do a lot of follow-up work over the telephone. Some of our cases can be dealt with in a couple of hours or days. More complex cases can take months to work through to a positive resolution. A lot of the work we're doing at the moment is crisis intervention. The majority of people getting in touch with us is because they can't afford to put their heating on. So we access support to make their homes more energy efficient, and also access financial support so they have money to put their heating on. This is then followed up with energy advice to make sure they can get the most out of whatever support we've been able to access. And where possible, we'll refer on to other support. That could be the fire service for a fire safety visit, a carers group if somebody is an unpaid carer and not aware of the support available to them locally, or it could be to Citizens Advice Bureau or Bute Advice Centre for money and debt advice. Our affordable warmth service offers a suite of advice which we tailor to each household. We help people to understand their bills and submit meter readings to ensure they are accurate. We can check eligibility and help people to apply to their supplier's warm home discount, which is a £150 credit to electricity bills. Suppliers open for applications in autumn, early winter, and most now only accept online applications, so we can help people with this if they are unable to access the internet. We can help people sign up to their supplier's priority service register. This is for anyone with any vulnerabilities in the home, including elderly, children under 5, people who need additional support to communicate, if there is an electrical medical equipment in the home, and anyone who may need extra support during a power cut. We can help people to set up online energy accounts, identify dampness and condensation and how to address this, and help people identify what they can do around their home to save energy and money. We can check eligibility and refer you to national funded schemes, including the Council's Insulation Scheme and Home Energy Scotland's Warmer Home Scotland scheme. If eligible, you could receive a fully funded heating replacement and insulation measures. When funding allows, we are able to give out cosy kits. These include a blanket, heat holder socks and hot water bottle. Crisis intervention funds accessed for immediate client financial gains include the Scottish Government's Home Heating Support Fund, which offers up to £1,700 for energy debt and ongoing costs to anyone struggling to heat their home to a reasonable level. This is open to people on prepayment meters and credit meters. The Fuel Bank Foundation provide vouchers for prepayment customers. These fluctuate throughout the year and we are limited to how many we can access within a time period, so we need to be careful that people do not become reliant on these vouchers. The Fuel Bank Foundation also offer the Heat Fund, which is a fund to help people who have to do bulk top-ups of coal, wood, oil, LPG. For people with broken white goods, so cookers, washing machines, fridges, freezers, we can access funds for replacements. For families who are in need of household equipment and kitchen appliances, we work with children in need. ALIenergy are a delivery partner for Argyll and Bute Council's Flexible Food and Fuel Fund. This is a cash-first approach, helping people with food and fuel insecurity. The grant awards are on a sliding scale dependent on household size. It's an online application, and if somebody is struggling to do that online, the advisors at Bute Advice Centre can assist with this. Once an applicant has submitted their application, they are offered a welfare rights advice session from Bute Advice Centre and an energy advice session from ALIenergy. When we report that we've had meaningful engagement with the applicant, the council will make a second payment, so there is that incentive to accept the help that is out there. We have achieved excellent client gains this financial year to the end of December already. We've accessed just over £120,000 from the Home Heating Support Fund to help people with energy debt and ongoing costs. Through the Fuel Bank Foundation, we've accessed nearly £15,000 on prepayment vouchers to help people going off supply. We've accessed nearly £20,000 from Glasspool Trust for white goods, and almost £2,000 from the Heat Fund through Fuel Bank Foundation, and over £2,000 with children in need. We have this flyer and a selection of other material available in PDF or hard copies. If you would like copies to distribute, please get in touch. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it useful. If you'd like to get in touch, you can call us on 01631 565 183, email us on inquiries@alienergy.org.uk, or visit our website to complete our online contact form.